Hi, everybody. Matt here from Matt Likes Comics, and it's time for yet another episode of Random Books My Daughter Picked. Oh, oh, oh. That's right, strange voice and strange man. Time for another round of Random Books My Daughter Picked. I'm going to point out the cover as to why my daughter picked this book, but we'll get to that. Yes, this is a Batman Superman Spectacular. She picked books from the Batman Superman series from the 2019, which was not shortly after Rebirth. We all know the history of the Superman Batman team up, starting in World's Finest back in issue 71, after their first team up in Superman 76. And then moving on to the Superman Batman series that happened, that's the one where Supergirl was reintroduced. And then to in the New 52, a Batman Superman series by Jay Lee. That lasted about 2 years. And then, when they rebooted again, they did Batman Superman again right after the Batman Who Laughs miniseries. The first few issues sort of go from there, and then they move on to other things. And of course, this series went 22 issues with 2 annuals and a special, and then we get our current series of Batman Superman World's Finest, which recently reached 50 issues and is one of my favorite books that has been come out in the last 5 to 10 years by far. If you are a Silver Age fan and you like the ridiculous, you should be reading Batman Superman World's Finest, because they have a lot of what if stories and or just cool. And there's an issue where Supergirl and Robin, Dick Grayson, go out on a date. So anyways, I digress. We're going to start with this one. Batman Superman 18 from July 2021. It's called Superman and Batman and Robin in Worlds Apart. The cover is by Ivan Rice, Danny Miki, and Sabine Rich, and is written by Jean Luen Yang. Pencils are done by Ivan Rice and Jose Luis, and the inks are done by Danny Miki and Jonas Triande. The book has a cinematic feel to it, as the antagonist is a character named Oturio. Batman and Superman find themselves fighting a computer software system that was created for movies. We get several pages of what looks like a movie, starring the two in Golden Age looking costumes. The whole process of this is the result of a Phantom Zone crystal that Oturio has got his hands on. Which leads to the cover that made my daughter laugh. She said, "Batman in a cowboy hat. You have to do this." And therefore, she's right. This continues. This is Superman and Batman in Across Worlds. Covered by Ivan Rice, Danny Miki, and Sabine Rich. Written by Jean Luen Yang. Pencils by Emilio Lupicino and Kyle Hotz. Steve Lieber and Derek Robertson. There are 4 pencilers, and their inks are done by Matt Santiorelli, Steve Lieber, Derek Robertson, and Kyle Hotz. This is August 2021. They are still fighting Oturio. After a battle that takes several pages, they end up in the movies again, starting on Rann, the planet Rann, fighting giant worms, and in the end up in a western. The last part of the book shows Etrigan the demon coming. Isn't that exciting? Which leads, of course, to the cover on 20. Etrigan, again. Some Jack Kirby goodness. Issue 20 from September 2021. Superman and Batman and Robin in Worlds Burn. Covered by Ivan Rice, Danny Miki, and Sabine Rich. Written by Jean Luen Yang, pencils by Ivan Rice, inks by Danny Miki. The movie madness continues. as the Western movie turns into chaos as Etrigan gets involved with Otirio and joins the cinematic craziness that's going on. Demons then invade the Wild West, and the book ends with yet some robotic characters to be added. Yes, Superman robots are on the way. I'm actually not getting into detail on purpose, by the way, on these things. I'm just giving a summary because these books made me laugh and entertained me so much when I was rereading them for this video. And I really, really think you guys should be getting them and reading them too. They are the bee's knees, shall we say. Leading to October 2021's issue 21, Superman and Batman and Robin in Worlds Saved. The cover is by Rodolfo Migliari. These names, I should practice them before I do these. Written by Gene Luen Yang, pencils by Ivan Rice, and inks by Danny Miki. In the film world, the trio are now being attacked by Superman robots. They manage to defeat them, and Etrigan confronts them at the Fortress of Solitude. All of the movie worlds are starting to converge. Then Superman and Batman are able to defeat Arturio when Etrigan turns on him. It turns out that Otirio was possessed and everything is returned to normal, except the movie versions continue unabated in their own worlds. And that's the end of that story. Issue 22 is called Little Boxes, covered by Ivan Rice, Danny Miki, and Sabine Rich. Written by Gene Luen Yang, pencils by Paul Peltier, and inks by Keith Champagne. Mr. Mixelplick gives Calendar Man the ability to see the world as if he was a comic book reader. For instance, he has the power to reach into future panels to grab items if necessary. Ultimately, though, Calendar Man loses to the exasperation of Mixelplick, who then gives readers crap for continuing to read good guy comics. Another one of the See, it's books like this that dominate sort of the world's finest current run, and it's books like this that are the most fun. In the books that we picked as well, we pulled the 2 annuals from the series. The first one is Annual 1 from November 2020, which is called Freestyle Imp Battle, covered by Gabriel Rodriguez, inks by Alejandro Sanchez, written by Joshua Williamson, art by Gleb Melnikoff, Dale Eaglesham, and Clayton Henry. The book begins with Mixelplick and Batmite fighting over who is better, Superman or Batman, leading to a couple of stories where each person, or mite, whatever you want to call them, tells their story where their hero is the victor. They fight at the end of the book, and the last panel is a very cool Ace versus Crypto shot. They brought in the 2 dogs, of course. I like this one. This was, again, Batman and Superman, when they're together, are some of my favorite books, right from World's Finest down. I probably should get more of them, especially the first one. I mean, I do have the entire run of the Batman, Superman from the New 52. I have this entire run, and I have the entire run of World's Finest, but I still need about 7 or 8 issues for Superman, Batman, and of course, tons of them for World's Finest. But anyway, leading us to the 2021 annual, which came out in October of 2021. This book has 2 stories. Superman in the World of the Night and Batman in the World of Tomorrow. This annual is a throwback to the storyline that we discussed with Arturio earlier, where basically there are creatures made of film in this book that show the 2 movies, and basically it's a supplement to the last story. And honestly, this was a lot of fun too. The credits go, this particular cover was done by Brian Hitch and Alejandro Sanchez. There is a Batman cover as well. That is cover B. I got the A because I always get the A cover. And both stories were written by Gene Luen Yang. And the Superman art was done by Francesco Francavilla. Frank Cavilla. And the pencils for the Batman story were done by Paul Peltier, and the inks by Mick Gray. It is Mick Gray. That one I'm sure of because I made double checking because I didn't want to get it confused with someone I know in real life. So this was a really cool follow-up. So if you want to do the film story, you need issues 17 because it started the one before. I just pulled, as I said, I did my rules. It starts at 17 as an end piece, like it's the cameo thing. So you could get away with not having 17, but it basically 18 to 21 and the annual 2. Or it's annual 2, but they call it annual 2021. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe below. I particularly would like to know if you are a fan of the team up of Batman and Superman at any point, and if so, what it was you liked. Or if you're not a fan of the Batman Superman teaming up at any point, you can tell me that too. And you can tell me exactly, take it to the Batcave. Thank you very much for joining me today. I really hope you enjoyed the video. My name is Matt. I like comics, and I hope you do too. Bye, everybody.